Alrighty, this is Sam Pirozzolo with Right Bites TV, and we're back with my guest, Joanna Tierno from Staten Island. And Joanna has informed us that she has not one, but several rare diseases. And we're going to talk about, I guess, what your most prominent rare disease is today. And can you just tell us what that is?
Okay, so my main disease is primary immune deficiency disease, and I have a condition called hypogammaglobulinemia. So that's my treatable primary.
Say that one more time, a little bit slower.
Okay, no, we should actually say it fast. Hypogammaglobulinemia.
Hypogammaglobulinemia.
That's close enough.
Okay. All right.
You did good for first try.
And what does this mean for you?
Okay, it means I don't make the antibodies to fight infection.
And what's your treatment for this?
So, luckily for me, I think I said in a previous episode, 95% of rare diseases don't have a single FDA-approved treatment. In that 5% with this condition, because they are able to take from blood donors antibodies that I need to survive, and I get infusions every week.
So what I just heard you say is that people give blood. Mm-hmm. So it's important, folks, to go to your nearest blood donating station. I mm-hmm. guess the Red Cross holds these drives
New York
all the
Blood
time. And give blood. So people give blood. They take plasma.
They take plasma.
It's
a process called fractionalization.
Right.
And they'll pull plasma from thousands of donors and remove just the antibodies from me. Okay. And then that gives me a temporary immune system. So it only lasts a week.
And they transfer those antibodies into you.
Yes.
And this is every week you have to do
every Wednesday.
Okay. Now, you also gave me a statistic that only 250,000 Americans have rare diseases, right?
That's not rare diseases. It's 250,000 patients have primary immune deficiency disease. And there's 200 types or more of primary immune deficiency diseases.
Okay, so we did a little math here, folks. The population of the United States is 326 million people, give or take. If we divide that by 250,000, we come up with 0.0007% of the population, an infinitesimal number of the population have this one particular, rare disease that you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And as we alluded to in the previous episode, it's not that pharmaceutical companies aren't doing anything about it, because obviously you have some sort of treatment. Mm-hmm. But when such a small, minute fraction of the population is afflicted by this disease, I guess the major funding does not go in the direction that you need it to go.
No, it hasn't. And considering that rare diseases, 50% of rare disease patients are children, and we're a culture that says we value children, and 30% of deaths within the first year of life are from a rare disease, we do need to push for more treatments and cures. Desperately, even though, the numbers say one thing, and you say, oh, that's not that many people, oh, it's not an issue, or that can wait. But when you meet even just one family who's lost a child to a primary immune deficiency or other rare disease, you see the devastating consequences on them, on all their loved ones, on their community, and the loss of life and potential, that we really do need to do more. And I know we can. There's the political will to do that.
I have to imagine that, as a parent or even as an adult, it's difficult to lose any life. Mm-hmm. But it's maybe one thing to lose a life when, if you have a cancer and you fight the cancer and you can survive and you can do something, and in the end, maybe you pass, you don't make it. Mm-hmm. People can say, well, we did the best that we could. Mm-hmm. But in the cases that you're talking about, there is nothing that people can really do.
Often, there isn't.
You're helpless.
There isn't as much because there aren't the big fundraisers. There's no protocols for my disease still. So even just going to a hospital and knowing that the doctors know how to handle a certain side effect, or they've dealt with this before, or there's the procedure, so they know. Like if you're on chemotherapy.
So basically, you're in a hospital bed, and the doctor comes in with his book. He's looking up, what do you have again? And he's looking it up in the book, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I'm saying that even the best doctors are learning from us, so they don't have set protocols. So with a lot of diseases, you have the confidence in your medical team because they know, say, if a patient on chemo has a certain reaction, if we reduce the dose for a little while, or we do this or give them this drug, it's going to help. They don't necessarily know these things for us yet.
You also talk about political will. Mm-hmm. So I would imagine, because I've seen your face, your likeness on the side of trucks that advertise, what's going on. But I would imagine you've spoken to some of the politicians on Staten Island.
I try
what is
to
your
speak with
feedback?
all or most of them, and most have been very receptive to my cause, and I think they do try to be helpful.
Well, how does define being helpful? Or define what you think being helpful is.
Well, that's the thing. What I really want to see, and I take whatever awareness I can get. So being on, the New York blood trucks has put my disease on the map a little bit, in New York City at least, because they've given me a little bit of a platform, explained what I've had, and it's inspired people to donate blood. So I take whatever awareness I can get. I've done tabling out in the cold, in the rain, handed out brochures. I've been to DC. And just hearing me out is good. This way, at least when they're making decisions, because they are voting on healthcare topics, that they keep patients like me in mind, so they're not doing things that are going to hurt us.
So this is much more as a Max Rose congressional issue than it would be a Jimmy Otto borough president issue, or a Michael Riley New York State Assembly issue.
I think that any of our electeds are in a position to help. I don't think, something as big as this is something that one person alone is going to be able to, make all the difference in the world. There's no broad stroke, but yes, we need more funding. We need more awareness. And definitely our local electeds can certainly play a part in that. Okay. And thank you for wearing my rare disease pin today.
Thank you for bringing it to me, because not only are we having this conversation, but as we have this conversation, in my head, I'm going, oh my goodness, this is an incredible thing that, I just really don't know much about. Mm-hmm. So it's certainly an awareness, and I'm happy that we can help you, make this more aware through Right Bites TV. You mentioned something about genome sampling or genome testing or replacing genes.
Yes.
So we'll do that for our next bite. Mm-hmm. But basically, it seems that for some diseases, and you mentioned hemophilia, there are only 2 defective genes that most hemophiliacs or all hemophiliacs have. Mm-hmm. And the pharmaceutical companies have learned what those 2 genes are. They take those genes out and replace them with healthy genes, and the hemophilia is cured.
Well, they're not actually doing that yet, but they're a disease that will probably get cured before mine.
Okay, so we'll do that in the next, we'll do that in our next bite, but that's what we're going to talk about next, folks. Thank you very much. Again, this is Sam Pirozzolo with Right Bites TV.